Welcome to today's discussion about the recent settlements between major social media platforms and a school district over allegations of social media addiction harming students.
That's a significant story. Let's dive into it.
The story begins with Google's YouTube and Snap settling a first-of-its-kind lawsuit brought by a school district.
What were the main allegations in this lawsuit?
The school district alleged that these social media platforms were creating addiction among students, which in turn disrupted the learning environment.
That's a serious claim. How did the platforms respond to these allegations?
They settled the lawsuit ahead of trial. The details of the settlement aren't entirely clear, but it's significant that they chose to settle rather than go to trial.
Are there other similar lawsuits pending against these or other social media platforms?
Yes, there are over 1,200 similar cases nationwide where school districts have alleged that social media addiction is harming students.
Wow, that's a substantial number. Have any other platforms been involved in similar settlements?
Actually, TikTok was also part of a settlement with the same school district, according to the reporting.
So it seems like multiple major platforms are facing similar allegations. What's the common thread here?
The common thread is the claim that these platforms are designed in ways that foster addiction among young users, negatively impacting their mental health and academic performance.
That ties into broader concerns about social media regulation and the responsibility of tech companies towards their users, especially minors.
Exactly. The settlements suggest that there's some acknowledgement of the potential harm caused by these platforms, or at least a willingness to address the concerns without admitting liability.
How do these settlements impact the ongoing debate about social media regulation?
They add another layer to the discussion by showing that even without new regulations, companies are willing to settle claims related to their platform's impact on youth mental health.
That's an interesting point. It suggests that the legal system is being used as a tool to hold these companies accountable, even in the absence of specific legislation targeting social media addiction.
Right. And it's not just about the legal outcomes. These cases bring attention to the issue and potentially influence how companies design their platforms in the future.
So, what's next for these companies and the school districts involved?
The reporting indicates that the settlements are part of a larger trend where school districts are taking action against social media companies. We might see more settlements or potential legislative changes in response to these issues.
I understand that the specific school district involved was from Eastern Kentucky. Can you tell me more about that?
The Breathitt County School District was the one that brought the lawsuit. They alleged that the platform's designs were contributing to mental health issues and addiction among their students.
What was the response from the platforms after the settlement?
While the exact statements aren't detailed in the reporting, it's clear that these companies are under increasing scrutiny regarding their impact on young users.
That's a critical issue. The mental health of students is a major concern for educators and parents alike.
Absolutely. And these settlements highlight the complexities of regulating or even just understanding the impact of social media on youth.
Are there any broader implications of these settlements for the tech industry as a whole?
One implication is that it sets a precedent for how similar cases might be handled in the future. It could also prompt other school districts to take similar action.
That makes sense. And it might push companies to rethink their product designs and safety features, especially for younger users.
Exactly. The settlements could be a catalyst for change, both legally and in terms of how these companies operate.
It's interesting that all three major platforms were involved in the settlement. Does that suggest a coordinated response or just a similar approach to resolving the issue?
The reporting doesn't suggest a coordinated response, but rather that each company chose to settle with the school district separately.
I see. So it's more about individual decisions to settle rather than a joint strategy.
Right. Although they were all facing similar allegations, the settlements appear to be individual actions.
What's the potential impact on these companies' operations and their bottom line?
The financial terms of the settlements aren't fully disclosed, but it's likely that they involve significant amounts, given the scale of the allegations.
That could be a motivator for change. If it costs them financially, they might be more inclined to alter their practices.
That's a possibility. Financial incentives can be a powerful driver for change in corporate behavior.
As we wrap up this discussion, it's clear that these settlements are just the beginning of a larger conversation about social media's impact on youth.
That's right. And it's a conversation regulation that will likely continue to evolve as more information becomes available and as these companies adapt to the changing landscape.
Well, that's all for today's discussion. Thanks for exploring this complex issue with me.
Goodbye, and see you later.